job in giving us a frank assessment of the challenges of decarbonization and, of course, transitioning to a cleaner product with the existing resources that we already have. So we're going to move on now to the next discussion. It's going to be a video. If you are staying with us, I'd suggest that you stay put. If you are leaving, please do so quietly. So our next address is a keynote speaker from Namibia. It's a crucial 5-minute video address, and it is my honor to introduce to you the Honorable Kornelia Shilunga, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Mines and Energy, Namibia, to just give us a sense of how Namibia is leading the charge in this.
Honorable Ministers, Captains of Industries, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great privilege to address you at the Africa Energy Week 2025, a platform where the continent's most transformative energy stories are being told and shaped. Allow me to share Namibia's perspective as one of Africa's most exciting new frontiers in oil and gas. In recent years, Namibia has witnessed a series of and offshore discoveries, firmly establishing the Orange Basin as one of the world's most promising petroleum regions. These discoveries confirm Namibia's growing role as both a destination for exploration and a potential hub for future production. The milestone achieved to date, including discoveries such as the Capricornus alongside Venus and Mopane, provide clear evidence of the Orange Basin's global significance. Exploration momentum is continuing at an unprecedented pace. Both appraisal and drilling campaigns are advancing, reflecting the strong confidence that international investors and operators place in Namibia's potential. This interest is not confined to the offshore basin alone. Our onshore areas, such as the Kavango Basin, have also attracted international players, demonstrating that Namibia's petroleum landscape offers opportunities across multiple fronts. Namibia now finds itself advancing towards the next stage of its petroleum journey. Key discoveries are moving through appraisal towards development, marking our transition from exploration success to the early steps of production planning. This represents the beginning of a new chapter in the country's energy sector, one that will have profound implications for our economy, our people, and our partners. As we advance, Namibia continues to present attractive opportunities for investors. Our open licensing regime provides access to deep water, ultra deep water, and shallow water acreage. The government has worked diligently to refine and improve physical and regulatory frameworks to ensure that investment terms remains competitive while safeguarding national interest. We remain committed to partnership that brings not only capital, but also technology and expertise, ensuring that resource development is conducted responsibly and sustainably. Our theme remains unity in diversity, natural resource beneficiation, and youth empowerment for sustainable development. As Namibia takes its place on the continental and global energy stage, we extend a warm welcome and invitation to all our partners that are present here today. Join us in writing this new chapter. Together we can ensure that Namibia's resources become not only a source of energy, but a source of opportunity, resilience, and inclusive growth for the generations to come. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Certainly, I think the Honourable Minister deserves a round of applause for outlining their vision in terms of what they're doing to electrify the region. So just to follow up, let's go to the minutiae now, definitive ways in which Namibia is going to do this. Let's take a look at this short video before we introduce the Invest in Namibia Energies panel discussion.
Invest in Namibia. Namibia's energy sector is entering a new era in 2025, driven by the dual development of world-class oil and gas discoveries and ambitious renewable energy initiatives. Following major finds in the Orange Basin by Total Energies and Shell, Namibia is fast-tracking exploration into production with a final investment decision for BW Energy's Kudu gas field expected this year. At the same time, large-scale port and onshore infrastructure upgrades are underway to support future production and unlock long-term economic benefits. Complementing hydrocarbons, Namibia is positioning itself as a global renewable energy leader. The flagship Green Hydrogen project secured $2.8 billion Namibian dollars in 2025 and will break ground this year, while new projects such as the 20-megawatt peak Solar Century PV plant and Namibia's largest wind farm are reshaping the power mix. With World Bank support for grid expansion and battery storage, Namibia aims to generate 80% of domestic electricity from renewables by 2028. Together, these developments are transforming Namibia from a net importer into a regional energy hub.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see there, that the world is looking for the next energy leader, and it's blowing in the winds. It is pumping from the basins of Namibia. So let's introduce now this next panel, and let me tell you who it's sponsored by, because that's important. It's sponsored by Africa Global Logistics, AGL, and this session is really going to shine a spotlight on Africa's rapidly evolving energy frontier, brimming with opportunity, as you can hear. Exciting, from new oil and gas discoveries in the Orange and Walvis Basins to a flourishing renewable energy sector. Namibia is set to become a regional powerhouse. To tell us how government leaders, various stakeholders are going to do that, including industry experts from groundbreaking solar and wind developments. The panel is going to offer a very unique perspective to explore how Namibia's abundant resources, investor-friendly policies, and strategic vision will combine to unlock this amazing, bright energy future. So allow me to call onto the stage. Moderator for this panel is founder and CEO of RichAfrica Consultancy, Selma Shimutwikeni. Let's welcome her if she's nearby. And she will be joined by Maggy, Shino, Petroleum Commissioner, Ministry of Mines and Energy, Namibia, Ejike, Egbuagu, Group Chief Executive Officer, Moneda Capital. And also on this esteemed panel is Ben Stenning, Managing Director at AGL Namibia, Dominique Goodell, VP Early Engagement Gas, Technip Energies, as well as Alistair Forder, Chief Operating Officer from Azul Energy. And they'll also be joined by Beatrice Bienvenue, the Namibian Country Manager at Chevron. If I could just ask them to please come up to the stage, especially those of you who are already mic'd, so that we can preserve time as best as possible. We are trying to run a tight ship. This next panel is going to take exactly 45 minutes. I've got the unenviable task of using the stick. Unfortunately, no carrot has been offered to me. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give them a warm round of applause.
Everyone is here? Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to Invest in Namibia Energy's panel discussion. We just heard from Honorable Kornelia Shilunga, Special Advisor and Head of the Upstream Petroleum Unit in the Presidency, outlining Namibia's energy ambitions and setting the tone for our conversation today. Building on that, this panel will look at how discoveries can be transformed into long-term growth. It will share key developments and reflect on how Namibia is preparing for first oil. I'm joined by a distinguished panel representing government, operators, logistics, finance, and technology. And we've already been introduced, so I'm just gonna go straight into it in the interest of time. To start with, let me turn to Maggy Shino, our Petroleum Commissioner at the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, to share the latest developments on Namibia's exploration progress and how the government is positioning the country from a policy and regulatory perspective to move towards first oil. Maggy, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure for us to be here, and especially speaking from a point of the country, the land of the brave, being in a position to pivot itself onto the next phase of the industry. With that being said, we have been busy since the last AEW, and the past 12 months has been less of a position of being transformational and a game changer for us. But in a positive way, has been a month where we have been positioning ourselves forward as a nation. What we have been busy doing, and our strategy hasn't changed that much. We are moving forward into ensuring and making sure that Namibia become an oil-producing nation. And with that, we are balancing our hydrocarbon objective with the energy transition agenda as has been set by the world. While doing that, we are therefore making sure that we have provided, as a government, we have provided a conducive environment for investments to be able to come in. We are giving clear and stable and fair fiscal terms to the environment or to the industry to ensure, therefore, that we are one of the most stable countries that capital is welcoming. At the same time, we also have set forward a very clear pathway towards making sure that we reach that final investment decision for us to have the pathway to first oil very clear. Our plan and our objective is to be an oil-producing nation by 2029, 2030, and with that we have accelerated the work that we have been doing. At this stage, we have received draft FDP plans from Total, and also have started the conversation of improving the FDP that we have already received from BW, and we are working towards making sure then that those are approved within a very short period of time so that we can achieve that FID within the next 6 months. At the same time, also, we are streamlining the approval process, and we are also keeping it flexible. We still remain a very pragmatic government, the Namibian government, and with that, we are looking towards making sure that the infrastructures that are established are done in a very flexible manner, in a phased approach manner, looking at the demand of what we have, and therefore welcoming the investment. But to the question, Selma, in terms of what is happening, allow me to start with the good news. We keep being on a roll, as I keep saying. We just completed the drilling of the Volans well in PEL 85. The partners, thank you. The partners, Rhino Resources, Azul, NAMCO, and Chorus have just informed me that we have positive results and very good news out of the Volans well. And for us, the Orange Basin keeps being this basin that keep forever giving to Namibia. Down, up from the drilling of PEL 85 that has happened, we are busy right now also then drilling the Karas 1 well within the license of the Kudu development field. And here we are targeting not only to see the extent and appraising the current Kudu discovery, but also with the hope, because a signature that we are seeing from the other success of oil discoveries within the basin are progressing. And this is where technology has then come to the forefront of our subsurface analysis. And for us, because of that, we are being able to see the signature of the oil accumulation that we are seeing in other blocks also within the Karas. Really, within the Karas 1 well. Really textbook things that we are seeing within this block, this well. And hopefully we should be able to go to the market again with another good news very soon. Moving forward within also the basin, as I've said, we have received the first batch and second batch of the field development plans for us to be able to develop the Venus field, and also with the one that we have received from Kudu. We are also working aggressively in then locating new drilling location for both the Shell block and also the Chevron. And at the same time, also working together with TGS, we have finished the reprocessing of all the existing data within the Orange Basin, and new results and new prospectivities has been seen. Coming up within the next weather window, we are also going to acquire new data within the Luderets and the Walvis Basin, new 2D, and also going to be reprocessing all the data that we have within this basin to then be able to see what else are we seeing. And also there is a well commitment that has been made for the Walvis Basin that's coming at least Q3 2026. With the Namib Basin, we are working together with Angola to ensure that we integrate the results of the well that was drilled on the side of Angola. And that result will then be able to guide us what we are going to do. But also, with that being said, we are still also busy onshore with the current drilling within the Recon Africa block on the Ovambo Basin. And all this work and all these activities are coming together in a perfect harmony for us and to be able to really advance the potential of Namibia. While this is working, a lot of work is also ongoing in terms of the plans for the infrastructure development. I do not want to go further because the colleagues are here and then they will give that update. In a nutshell, that is where we are right now in Namibia.
Thank you very much, Maggy. And a round of applause for Rhino Resources, Azul, and NAMCO for successful results. Alistair, Namibia has set an ambitious target of achieving its first oil by 2030. From your perspective, and maybe I'm being a bit controversial here, is this timeline realistic? And what critical steps need to be in place to stay on track?
First of all, and thank you for confirming the joint venture's great news. I also want to recognize the Rhino team, sat in the second row there, led by Travis, who we partnered on PEL 85. I'd also like to recognize NAMCO and Chorus, our other partners on the block, for our third discovery on the block, and this one a very substantial discovery. I won't make further comment on that, but the press release, not already out, will be coming out very soon. So it's fantastic news, not only for the joint venture that's responsible or part of Paleti 5, but of course for Namibia. It's another material discovery that advances Namibia and its journey and plan that we've heard so well from Maggy to being an oil-producing nation very soon. 2030, you said. So let me answer the question. Now, of course, our only answer in the matter of Azul Energy. We heard Maggy's comments on Total's plans and BW's plans, and of course, I won't comment on that. But from an Azul Energy perspective, we do believe it's achievable. We believe it's tough, we believe it's challenging, but we do have the track record of delivering that in Angola, whereby we took from FID to first oil 29 months. So the time remains, but the challenges are significant, I have to say. The challenges are significant. But certainly on behalf of the joint venture group, Azul Energy, I speak for us as a whole, are very committed to achieving the ambition as laid down by the Namibian government. Now, I think the challenges that need to be overcome, we'll talk to those, and the panel is a representation of those. It's around partnering at so many levels. It's partnering with our host government and NAMCOR, National Oil Company. It's about achieving the right finances. It's about partnering with ourselves as oil companies across Namibia to unlock an improved understanding of the subsurface infrastructure, the subsurface topography, if I call it that. And so it's very much about partnering. And as we move forward collectively, I have no doubt that we will win.
Well, thank you so much.
Let me pause there.
Yeah, thanks, Alistair. Beatrice, over to you. Why are you optimistic about, what are you optimistic about in Namibia? Why?
You know, we've been so warmly welcomed in Namibia by the ministry, the recently created upstream petroleum unit, NAMCOR, and all of the government institutions that we've interacted with. In particular, I'd like to call out Maggy here, Petroleum Commissioner. Thank you for your leadership, Maggy, in this space. We were originally attracted to Namibia because of many positive attributes, or, you know, the building blocks to first oil, as you call them, Selma.
Yes.
We see a favorable fiscal environment that attracts capital, a robust legal framework that supports investment, and durable energy policy and regulations that enable decision-making at pace. Also, from a geologic perspective, we're optimistic about our portfolio in the Walvis Basin. We have a block there that has the opportunity to test many different play types, and we're progressing our technical evaluation and making good progress towards being able to make a drill decision.
Thank you so much, Beatrice, sharing. Ben, over to you. I mean, you know, infrastructure readiness, you know, is one of the building blocks for us to succeed in Namibia, or for us to get to first oil. And AGL has been investing in Namibia's logistics and port infrastructure. How do these developments position the country to support future oil and gas projects? And what further progress do you see as essential for readiness?
Thank you, Selma. I think first off, I would just like to say that it's a great pleasure to be part of this panel. And I think what all of my panelists will probably agree is a really exciting time in Namibia, and hopefully a shift change from exploration to development in the near future. I think when we talk about infrastructure and supply chain readiness, whether we speak about port capacity or port usage, whether we speak about external storage facilities outside of Walvis Bay and Lüderitz, or whether we speak about supply chain connectivity to and interconnectivity within Namibia, I think all of these are critical factors within 2026 and beyond to the success. I would just like to address three specific points on that. So, firstly, on the port capacity itself. So, within Walvis Bay and within Lüderitz. First, I'd like to say that there has been in 2025 some considerable gains I think NamPort's partnership, concession partnership with Terminal Investment Namibia has seen productivity gains of between 65 and 70% in 2025 versus last year. There's been volume increases by around 35 to 40% year on year. There's been recent very positive investments in cranes and handling equipment. I would say probably one of the concerns specific to the offshore sector is around the guaranteed berthing and the priority berthing of vessels in Walvis Bay and Lüderitz, sorry. I think it's not inconceivable that within 2026 and beyond 2026, there will be simultaneously installation vessels, construction vessels needing to operate alongside for extended periods of time, and at the same time, potentially PSVs for the other operators needing to call. And I would say this remains a concern as it is today. On the second point, which is more in terms of outside port facilities, so outside the port of Walvis Bay, outside the port of Lüderitz, I would say this is not so much of a concern as the first point. Various private sector companies are investing and building up capacity in this. As AGL, through our local content joint venture company, AGL Energies, we're in the process of developing 25 hectares in Walvis Bay and 5 hectares in Lüderitz. It represents an investment in 2025 of around 30 million euros. And employ in excess of 300 people during the construction phase. And this is not a future investment commitment. This is an infrastructure investment commitment ongoing at the moment, so in place at the moment. I think as a secondary point to that would be, I think, the need for operators and contractors to utilize hybrid operational models. So using outside port storage areas, for example, for storing or value add services or training centers or office facilities, and smaller in-port areas for the marshalling of cargo before being loaded out or vice versa. And I mean, I think this was done, with Galp, for example, to great success during the exploration phase, helping to reduce costs and ultimately to move vessels faster in and out of the port. On the last point that I wanted to make, which was more in terms of supply chain readiness, so connectivity, I've already mentioned that through the new investments in the container port in Walvis Bay, we see much greater direct connections between Namibia and Europe and the Far East, and also at a much lower cost basis. I think this is very positive. I would say there still remains certain issues, for example, on air freight connectivity, both for passengers and for cargo, which remains quite limited, and also interconnectivity within Namibia itself, which is still primarily by road, which poses obviously both safety concerns and also increased cost.
Thanks, Ben. Just a quick follow-up. So where are these developments happening? Is it Lüderitz or is Walvis Bay? I know it's on everyone's mind, so I might as well ask you the question.
I mean, I'm not too sure, Selma, but what I can say from our side is that we're developing both, and I think a hybrid model between both Walvis Bay and Lüderitz would probably be the best solution.
All right, no, thank you for that. You also touched on local content, which is, a key national priority. And Madam Shilunga, also in her video, she did speak on local content and creating in-country value. So I wanted to ask Ejike, what role can financiers like Moneda Capital play in ensuring that local businesses and communities also benefit from investment flows in the industry?
Thank you, Selma. I think it's a very useful panel that we have here. A lot of investment coming to the country from people on the stage. And just the conversation of AGL building 2 ports, we can potentially have opportunities for Namibians right here, in this room, in terms of how do we get the contracting activity to be localized, and I think that's where a lot of the pain points are for the Namibian people. How can we get involved? And there's a big part to play for the financiers, because for very long, banking has had a bit of a disconnect with financing the SMEs. Who are these contractors that participate in these? And it's made them a bit, a bit difficult for them to participate. So what we do at Moneda is to bridge that gap by providing innovative financing where it's not so collateral heavy, track record dependent, where we work alongside these SMEs, making it possible for them to access capital. So we essentially provide this first loss capital for SMEs that, that might be struggling with their equity contributions. And there's progress happening in Namibia, so we have good things to say. Over the last year, since the last AEW, we've signed 2 MOUs with banks in Namibia, and I'd like to congratulate them for taking a leap of faith into markets that they're not too knowledgeable about. The first was FNB Namibia, who very boldly stepped forward, signed a $1 billion Namibian dollar agreement with our local joint venture, Moneda Capital. They do deserve a lot of commendation, because there's a lot of skepticism, a lot of fear and uncertainty about financing oil and gas, especially supporting Namibians trying to participate in oil and gas, because nobody has track record. So a lot of kudos to the team at FNB. Second has been Standard Bank. They've also stepped in. Yes, a round of applause will be very good. They've also stepped in and stepped up. It's very important to note that these actions by these banks, obviously pushed by us, is really for the benefit of the Namibian people. And we also have thanks to give to the government for providing the structure and the support, for partners like us to come into the country, partner with Namibians, and also have good relations with the banks. So we think that the atmosphere is changing positively to support Namibian participation. And what we're doing is also working with other African contractors, bringing their own experience to bear in Namibia to partner with Namibian SMEs, so that they have the technical capacity as well as the financial capabilities, to deserve the contracts from the gentlemen and ladies on the panel, win the contracts and execute with world-class standards. So that's really what we're trying to do in Namibia.
Oh, thank you very much, Ejike. Another building block for success is technology for us to get to first oil. Technology and engineering expertise will be crucial to moving discoveries into production. Dominic, I wanted to know, how is Technip Energies positioning itself to support Namibia on this journey?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Selma, for this good question. Well, as a service provider, indeed, well, as on this panel, we are used to arrive a little bit afterwards, but we are ready. We are ready, and we are committed to support Namibia in its, let's say, coming energy journey by bringing technology, engineering expertise, and supporting from discovery. Congratulations for the good news I heard, up to production for oil, gas, and renewables. So just to bounce back on what Ejike was saying, so we, Technip Energies, we have signed a MOU with Namcor in 2022, if my recollection is correct. So time goes by. It was at AEW 2022. And this MOU is covering several things. In particular, supporting Namibia's development for the recent oil and gas discoveries, but also accelerating gas value chain development and supporting initiatives, well, energy transition initiatives like carbon-free solution and decarbonization. Now, how to do it, how to support? It obviously goes through technology transfer and capacity building. So we, as Technip Energies, have, well, let's say, a deep knowledge of technology, engineering expertise, but we don't intend to come, develop, build, and leave. So that's why I was mentioning this transfer. So it covers a different way. So it can be through knowledge transfer, well, process engineering, for instance, training onshore, training offshore, skill development, but also integration or embedding our SMEs into Namibia's team. And also, so in complement to what was said, we intend to bring our large experience, especially in Africa, for project delivery, meaning turnkey contracting, because, well, discoveries, production, but after everything has to be built, I would say, onshore or offshore. We need to define or to develop all the construction capabilities around, including the logistics, because there will be a lot of things to be brought to the country. Well, this is the element of answer. Now, this being said, I've focused on oil and gas, but we are also thinking that there will be huge development in terms of green energy in Namibia, because everything is there. Well, there is a lot of sun, there is a lot of wind, there is a lot of land available. So all goes into the direction of green power to hydrogen potentially. So there are oil and gas, but also green energy to be developed. And well, this is my message. Technip is there, well, acting in Namibia since 28 and ready to stay as long as necessary, supporting the country's development.
Thank you, Dominic. Alistair, Azul Energy brings valuable experience from West Africa. What lessons from that region, from West Africa, can Namibia draw upon as it builds capacity and prepares for large-scale oil and gas development?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So let me just start by saying, what is Azul Energy? So we are a joint venture born from BP and E&I, but we are very much an independent company, headquartered with our staff in Luanda. And the reason I say that is we are very much a West Africa company. And that's our heartland, and this is where we have grown up over the last 3 years since we were born. This is where our successes are stemming from. I'd also talk about the company in terms of right now. It's 5 deep water FPSOs. We're currently drilling an ultra-deep 3,000-meter exploration well. We're also building an onshore gas plant and a shallow water 2 jackets facility development. But the reason I've talked through that is we play very well in the landscape of what is the Namibia oil and gas mix moving forwards. What I also say is we are very much a West Africa-based company, and we employ Angolan people. Actually, we've got a few Namibians working for us already, and they're expressing an interest to go home, I think. But we employ 1,000 strong people, and about 900 of those, give or take, are Angolan employees directly working for Angola via Azul. And we want to, and we will replicate that with Namibia. So I think a massive part of our experience is what we've learned in Angola and how we bring that to Namibia, of course, with the Namibia flavor. We are very much about win-win. We are hosted by the host governments. Very much respect what they bring, what they request. But we also feel that we have got the skills and capability and knowledge to advance that. I just want to touch on a few things of what we also heard up and down the panel around investment. So understand and drive our own investment, and that's such an important part of this huge enterprise that is front of Namibia. We also, example, operate a logistics bases, I'll add, right? So to the follow-up question, Selma, on which base in Namibia. I won't talk to that, but and just to give a size and scale, so Azul, through my organization, we operate 40 vessels, manage the 5 FPSOs and the drill ships that we have. Now, these are huge undertakings, and we bring that experience, but I also bring those as examples to say, there's a big effort in front of Namibia, and only through partnering, through a cross-section of this panel, will Namibia win, it allows the likes of myself and the organization I represent to win as well. So that gives you a little bit of flavor about what Azul is and why we feel we are uniquely placed, I feel, to be part of the Namibian landscape. And we're very honored to be there.
Oh, thanks, Alistair. I mean, clearly we have entered a new phase as a country. You know, before it was the road to discovery, now is the road to first oil. And Beatrice, I want to know, how can Namibia continue to progress towards first oil? I mean, it is a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. But what are those key things that need to be in place to get to first oil?
So I'll talk briefly to the mechanisms. There's the metal, right? And the metal was almost, and we heard from Technip in terms of the technology advancements. So I think the metal is the easier bit, but it feels difficult. I think we're through the discovery phases, and it's now around about advancing our subsurface knowledge to allow the right development schemes. But I think the most important part of this whole effort is the people. It's investing in the people to build the skills locally. They cannot and should not just be flown in. There has to be a part of that, because some of this is unique skills, but there has to start now. And I know it's already happening. There has to be deep investment, not only to create the jobs, but to create the skills that will carry Namibia. And I think that's such an important part of what has to be a success. Certainly, if I speak on behalf of Azul Energy, we absolutely commit.
Investing in people.
For that advancement and
right.
upliftment of the population.
Okay, no, thank you. Beatrice, you want to add to that?
I think we see a lot of the same themes, right? And I think the Namibian government has already taken such a professional approach to learn about the industry from other countries. They've traveled around the world, talked to governments about what has gone well, maybe what could be improved, and have conducted a lot of local consultations even around Namibia itself. So this is really a best practice for other governments. You know, we have a lot of experience working in different countries around the world, and we've seen where governments have strong leadership and a collaborative approach with industry. They're very successful. And that's what we've seen in Namibia. And the industry is really open here to share best practices and experience that we've had from around the world in order to help Namibia reach its targets. To come back, I think, to local content and local capacity building, Namibia has also done a really good job with that. For example, with Petrofund, and they are doing a lot of great work to provide scholarships and training opportunities for students. It's really important for the government and industry to move in lockstep to approach capacity building in sort of a phased approach, right? There are certain skills that are most applicable to exploration and then development and later on to production. And so matching that skills transfer to the phase of the industry really sets the workforce up for success and sends the right message to increase foreign investment. So I would say, you know, we're really excited again about our portfolio in Namibia and looking forward to a bright future in the country.
Thank you, Beatrice. Ben, just to go back to you in terms of, I mean, investing in people, you know, it's a key theme that's emerging from our discussion. So what is AGL doing in that respect?
Yeah, thank you, Selma. I think it's a hugely important important topic. I think, as discussed by most of my fellow panelists, I think I spoke before on the infrastructure, but I think the resourcing and the training and the upskilling in a relatively short time frame is absolutely critical. On our side with AGL, and as per our discussions with Mrs. Shino and also with the upstream petroleum unit, we're working actively at the moment to identify and recruit a number of people throughout Namibia in interaction with different parts of the country to bring in a number of staff. We're arranging internal and external training programs for these staff so that we can have, you know, by the early part of next year, we can be adequately resourced in terms of skilled Namibian leaders. So I think it's a very important point.
Okay. Ejike, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I do. Everything that affects uh, Namibians, it really matters to us. What we do at Moneda. For anyone that doesn't really know, Moneda is perhaps the premier local content financier on the continent, and it's come from difficult, processes of adapting financing to a continent that never really got a chance to build its own models, and we've had imported models that haven't quite worked, especially in terms of financing. So Moneda merges capital and technical capability, you know, enabling us achieve progress on the local content side at an accelerated pace. Whereas you would expect local content trajectories to be 20, 30 years, which is what we've experienced around the world. Using this model that we stumbled upon, we can accelerate this, hugely. Already on the continent, we've got experience, vast amounts of experience, whether it's from Nigeria to Angola, other markets where we've been through these cycles. So we're championing merging capabilities from the continent so that we jumpstart the capabilities here in Namibia. And that's kind of what we're supporting. We're supporting joint ventures with Nigerian firms, who are already contractors with Chevron and Total and the likes that already very well, past all the KYCs, the due diligence, the technical checks, merging their capabilities with Namibians, who are learning, and we think that learning by doing is the best way to learn, in terms of what we should expect, I know that it's a very difficult balancing act, from the commercial side. The investments we're talking about are huge. The commitments and the risk is big. So it's important to find a middle ground where it's possible to satisfy the commercial requirements, and at the same time, help the local community to feel like they're winning. And I think that's the little delicate piece in the puzzle where we may be able to help. When people are getting jobs, they feel like they're winning. When contractors are getting contracts and able to execute and getting paid, they feel like they're winning. When they're getting profits and expanding their businesses and employing more people, they feel like they're winning. So I guess that's the little balance where we think that our experience could be useful.
All right. No, thank you so much. I mean, it's always great to be optimistic, but it's also very important to have awareness around the challenges and potential solutions. So, Dominique, what are like the key technical challenges Namibia should anticipate, and how can they be addressed effectively from your perspective?
Thank you, Selma. Well, in France, we are used to say that there is no challenge, there are only solutions. But, well, we are optimistic. There might be some challenges, but different kind of. I would say on one side, there are the technical challenges. Well, first coming to my mind is, complex, deep offshore subsea infrastructure. Well, not so many complicated fields in the world. So it will require some advanced subsea engineering and specialized subsea infrastructure development. On the other side, there is also some, subsea rock permeability, so which will need to or require to develop enhanced recovery production means. And last but not least, very often when we find oil, there is gas. And then comes the question of gas management, associated gas management. Well, for a while, it was reinjected, not to say flared. This time is past now. But this associated gas is not a constraint, it's an added value, but we have to think on the best way to monetize. And there are several pathways. Well, it can be through local power production, for instance, but also gas derivatives such as fertilizers. And on the other side, there is a potential of money making by exporting under the LNG form. And one of the difficulty, which is not really technical, but it's to really find the right balance between the country needs and the future of the countries, but also the export with all the advantage it brings. So that requires a kind of master planning development for the associated gas. So this is the technical challenges I see. There might be also some project management challenges when we come to the, let's say, EPC or realization of the facilities. Well, infrastructure readiness, but Ben is there to support ports, roads, all the supporting infrastructure. But because when we are talking about multi-billion projects, it means that there will be multi-billions of equipment or bulk to be delivered to the country, and we need to be able to cope with this, all this material. Skills and technical skills and workforce development, but well, I'm very confident in and Chevron to work on that. And last but not least, it's also, well, we Technip are used to execute multi-billion projects, and when we are doing that, we see that there is a real need for finding the right financing model. And here, there will be some work to be done around the financement of the projects and also the policies around, which are maybe not fully set at the moment. But again, well, challenges, but always solutions.
No, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Madam Shino, I think you're going to have the last word today. What message would you like to leave with investors about Namibia's readiness and direction as it positions itself to be a regional energy hub?
I think the message today is it's nothing new. It's just to echo on the words of our president and the ambition that she has set for the country, Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. She has the agenda set for the country, and you know when a woman make a plan, you are guaranteed that it's gonna be seen through. So that's what we're promising you as Namibia. With that being said, she has made a plan for this industry to take it forward and to take it to the next level. And that's making sure that Namibia become an oil-producing nation. And with that agenda, she has demonstrated it by not only taking the oversight of the industry under her realm within the office of the president, but also establishing the upstream petroleum unit. And being a woman and how women have vision and oversight, she knows that there is an important element to the industry, which is continuity and making sure that the industry is taken forward in a manner that is stable, that demonstrates stability, that demonstrates peace, and that demonstrates that we are not undoing the hard work that has been done in the past. And through that, you can see in her nomination and appointment of Honorable Kornelia Shilunga as the head of the upstream petroleum unit. Most of you know Ms. Shilunga, as you have seen her on the video. She is an expert in the industry, formerly the Deputy Minister of Ministry of Mines and Energy. And that continuity is what we are assuring the industry of, that we will regulate this industry, we will manage it, and we will take it forward together with the industry as we have been doing so before. With that, we are also communicating that we are planning really aggressively to produce this oil within the shortest period of time. I know there have been record-breaking being done elsewhere in Angola, 29 months. Namibia is still coming. And we are going to make things, do things the Namibian way. And you know, we always break the record. So The time between FID and development will be us chartering through the uncharted water, as we have always, but being the land of the brave, you are rest assured that we will be able to do that. But we are only going to succeed because we also, at the core of our function, we still prioritize, and as the President have said, we're prioritizing strategic partnership. We are relying on our partnership that we already have between us and other governments, the partnerships that we have between us and the IOC and the companies that we have, and the partnerships that we have, as has been mentioned in numerous MOU between us and the service providers, and more that we are still looking forward to, because it's a journey that cannot be worked single-handedly, but holding a strong chain of support together, we will be able to reach that far. In addition to that, also, the President has set the agenda that the Namibian oil industry should be designed in a form that benefits all. A mantra has always been that for Namibians, we are too few to be poor. And that is a mantra that she is putting in work, and we are also putting in work. And you can see also how we have designed the local content policy and the way we are adopting and approving it or gazetting and implementing it. We are doing it in a phased approach. We are aware of our capability, and we are also aware of the capacity that we lack. And because of that, we are taking a phased approach, baby steps, but growing on the strength of what we already have, and that is what we are pushing forward. At the same time, we are making sure that the Namibian entrepreneurs take the forefront of this industry. We are also making sure that in order for any investment to have much broader base benefits into the Namibian community, you need to take along the community trust funds. So we are bringing forward this approach that a combination of both, a combination of as your local partners, a combination of entrepreneurs, a combination of Namibian communities will give you that sustainability footprint within Namibia. And we are all looking for a business that is able to make a change and make an impact. And Namibia is providing you with that opportunity. At the same time, I would like to assure you as a Namibian government of our commitment toward transparency, towards governance, and also towards building institutions that are strong to serve you. We are also committing to streamlining our process and our approval permitting, but we want you also to come forward with the offer of what you can for the Namibian people. Our objective and our vision is beyond the Namibian borders, and these still remain our strategic agenda as a nation. We are looking forward to building an industry that is resilient, not only to serve the Namibian economy, but really looking towards building an industry that will position Namibia as a hub, a regional hub, as a regional energy hub for Africa, as a gateway from Africa to the world, and also an industry that is gonna be a catalyst for Namibia to industrialize and for Namibia to be the exemplar for Africa to follow and the whole world to follow. We are ready to follow this, to take these steps, and we welcome you to participate into this. We need the financing, we need the technology, and we need the capability that the industry is bringing. So because of this, in terms of financing, we are open to having a resource-backed financing that is coming in. We are also open to having blended financing, but most importantly, we have only managed to unlock the Orange Basin. The remainder of Namibia remains to be an opportunity for everybody to grab and anybody to be that game changer for this industry. With that, we're looking for creativity in terms of the clustering of technologies so that we can be able then to unlock the challenges of the subsurface that we are seeing also in other basins, but also the expertise and the technology just to come together and be able to see what exactly do we have within the Luderets, what exactly do we have in the Walvis, what does the Namib have to offer, what does the Ovambo has to offer, and the Nama Basin all together. There is a piece of a cake for everyone. If we can all just put ourselves together in a format that the market currently dictates, and in a format that will be able then to build a resilient industry as we are hoping for it in Namibia. But above all, let's build that capacity. Anybody who is coming to serve in Namibia, you will need expertise that are homegrown. Let's start building that expertise right now as part of our journey towards the first oil. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggy. Ladies and gentlemen, today's panel has highlighted Namibia's energy journey. We touched on policy, regulation, infrastructure, finance, and partnerships, and the opportunities as well as challenges that lies ahead. As we look forward to the road to first oil and beyond, which will be the theme of the Namibia International Energy Conference next year in April from 14 to 16 in Windhoek, we'll continue this conversation and share some updates and hopefully more positive news. I'll end on this note, and it's a cliche, we hear it all the time. It's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I believe that together, Namibia will achieve this with its investors. I would like to thank our distinguished panelists. Thank you all for being part of this important discussion. Have a lovely day. Thank you.